All right, now there's some breaking news coming in. This is the Supreme Court has agreed to hear a plea challenging the orders of the Calcutta High Court ordering the deployment of central forces for the West Bengal Panchayat Polls. Now, remember, this is the Supreme Court agreeing to hear a plea which is challenging the orders of the Calcutta High Court, which is ordering the deployment of central forces. Beyond the deployment of central forces, other measures that are being taken, and this is what the governor has implemented, C.V. Anandabose. He had implemented a peace room initiative, but that has also received flack from the TMC. This particular input, though, is on the legal aspect, where the Supreme Court is going to be hearing a plea challenging the orders of the Calcutta High Court, which are ordering the deployment of central forces ahead of the Panchayat polls, which are taking place next month. We're crossing over to our legal correspondent, Ananya Bhatnagar, for more. Ananya, over to you.
Well, yes, Senior Advocate Meenakshi Arora was appearing, for the State West Bengal Commission had now, in fact, mentioned the matter before the topmost court of the country. This was a vacation bench before which this particular matter was actually mentioned. And it was stated by the State Election Commission that, that the HC has issued certain directions for the state to requisition for the forces, which isn't in the purview of the State Election Commission. Deployment of forces, requisition is done by the state. Deployment happens booth-wise, and these orders are required to be followed within the 48 hours period, and that is the whole contention that the West Bengal State Election Commission had, that 48 hours is a very, very less time, and when the matter was actually heard by the Calcutta High Court, it was a very, very short and a brief period, and it could not actually give out this particular and a detailed response to the High Court, because the hearing happened in a very, very short span of time, and that's the reason why, in fact, the Supreme Court should now intervene into this particular matter. Now, remember that both Congress and the BJP, through its leaders, have filed a caveat in the Supreme Court, and we will be hearing all of these sides tomorrow when the matter is actually heard by the vacation bench of the Supreme Court.
All right, Ananya, do stay with us. We're also going to be crossing over to our correspondent Kamalika Singh Gupta to get us more details. Kamalika, so the breaking input is that the Supreme Court is going to be hearing the plea challenging the orders of the Calcutta High Court, which ordered the deployment of central forces for the West Bengal Panchayat polls.
Yes, that's what Ananya was also briefing. The thing is that now the question rises that whether there will be central forces or not, because since this matter is challenged and it is there in the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court, the hearing will take place and all the sides will say. As Ananya was also pointing out, the caveat of BJP and Congress is still there, is also there. So they will hear, the Supreme Court will be hearing all the sides. But on ground, obviously, this whether central forces will be brought or not, that now remains a question, and remains in a question mark, that whether what Supreme Court says, now everything depends on that. On the other hand, tomorrow is the last day of withdrawal of nomination. So tomorrow the picture will be clear that what percentage of seat is uncontested by Trinamool Congress. Like in 2018, 34% of seats were uncontested. That means in 34%, Trinamool won without any opposition. This will not happen this time, since we have seen that the nomination filed by opposition is also a good amount of nomination they have filed. But now the allegation which is coming from the opposition is that now the ruling party is putting pressure on the candidates. Intimidation is there to withdraw the nomination. So tomorrow night it will be clear that what amount of election will actually take place and what amount of seats remains uncontested. And over that, central forces will come or not, that's a question mark. Now, there where the opposition and the ruling party will have the politics on it, and on the top of everything is the governor's peace room, which has now again come in the question mark of the ruling party.
Absolutely. Kamalika, thank you for joining us and bringing us those details. We'd also like to thank our legal correspondent, Ananya, for joining us and helping us decode this latest development. Now we're going to listen